What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Piff and Tales. This your boy Drizzy. Make sure you subscribe, you like, you comment, hit the bell so you know every time I drop immediately. Yo, we just gonna get right into it. Y'all know what I'm gonna say. Bro, this video can be either 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 20 minutes, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm not trying to have this go past 8. Like, today, honestly, it's just going to be like a short video just talking about like what kind of equipment you need when you're first starting out. And like what I went through when I first started out with like my equipment and all that. So let me first get started. With research. Like most people, if you're starting out, you're probably on YouTube, you're probably on Google, you're probably on, what's that called? Is it Reddit? I don't know, bro. But whatever you on, where there's people, you know what I'm saying, answering questions or, you know, displaying whatever they're doing or, you know, whatever the case may be. So a lot of the stuff that I saw was on YouTube as far as grows, like the type of tent people had, the type of lights people had, humidifiers, this, that, etc., whatever. What you will see is a lot of people saying stuff that you need, that you don't actually need, to be quite honest with you. And that's what this video is really about, is to tell you what you actually need. No fluff, no extra. Like, you know what I'm saying? You ain't getting paid off nobody buying this stuff anyway, so ain't no point in telling people stuff they need that they don't really need. So I'm gonna break it down real quick. And this is all situational too, because obviously this is by whatever space you have, you know, whatever kind of, you know, whatever you're working with. If you absolutely have to have a tent and you're just starting out, I would say go with a 2x4. And not only is this for people like what you need when you're just starting out, this is also cost effectiveness. Let me make that very clear. Everything I'm about to say is for cost effectiveness. So if you absolutely need a tent, get a 2x4. You don't need nothing special. You don't need no top of the lot. Here's what I'll say. If you have a place to put that tent where you know it's not going to be disturbed as far as light and stuff like that, I would say go with any kind of tent. And the reason why I would say go with any kind of tent, even if you have a room where technically you could grow out of, again, if you're going with cost effectiveness, growing out of a bigger space is going to cost more. That's just, I feel like that's just common sense across the board. Not only with your electricity bill, because you're going to need the light to supply that space. Depending on how, you know, dry your, you know, wet that space is, you might need a humidifier or a dehumidifier. Now, depending on how big that space is, it's going to tell how big that humidifier or dehumidifier is going to need to be, which is going to obviously be more expensive. A heater or AC. If you're in a room that's way too hot and it's mad big, you're probably going to need an AC and a you know, a decent power in AC. If you're in a room that's too cold, likewise, you're going to need some kind of heat source. The bigger the room, the more powerful the heater, the more expensive. So that's where the tent will come in. Even if you have a room or a space where you can technically do it no problem, if you're looking for cost effectiveness, get you a 2x4. Listen, when I first started, all I've seen was videos of people doing 1 pound out of 2x4s. I'm talking 1 pound, like 1 plant, 2 max, and a 2x4 going crazy. So if you know you ain't trying to do no more than that, get you a 2x4, put it in that space, and everything you need for that space is going to cost less, because obviously you don't need all that for a little tent. The humidifier, let's say you're in a situation where you're going to need a humidifier, you're going to need a heater, you're going to need an inline fan. Now, I guess like you don't need that, but let's say that you do. For the most part, Don't nobody want their flowers smelling up their house. You know what I'm saying? All that. So let's say you're going to need an inline fan. A cheaper inline fan, because again, if you have a big space, you most likely are probably going to need a 10-inch inline fan, and a pretty decent one at that. And them joints is not cheap. I think the lowest they go down is 4 inches. I think you could honestly get away with 4 inches. As a matter of fact, I know you could in a 2x4. Way cheaper than obviously a 10. Even stuff like fans, again, you're gonna need a fan. You're gonna need to circulate that air. A 2x4 in a room is the difference between you just getting some clip-on fans and you having to get maybe like 2 or 3. Let me not be excessive. Maybe 2 like decent sized fans, and you might even still need the clip-on fans, even though. But with a 2x4, the clip-on fans is all you will need inside that tent. Period. What else did I say? A heater, bro. That space is the difference between you having to get some oversized, maybe $80, $100 heater, or you going to Walmart and getting one of those, those little $20 heaters, those little, the little black ones are like this big. Yo, that space is the difference between you getting that for $20, maybe a little less, and something that's way more expensive that you're absolutely gonna need. So, again, I'm not trying to make this video too long. So to break it all down, get you a 2x4, and again, this is all situational. Get you a 2x4 if you're in a room, or if you have a space that's not going to be bothered by light or nothing like that. I'm going to get you the cheapest 2x4 you can see, because the thing with the 2x4s is, or the tents in general, based on price, is the fabric that they use. Cheaper fabric is most likely going to mean you're going to have light leaks, especially with zippers. That's very underrated. Watch out for your zippers. You will definitely get light leaks through that. Isis, come here. My dog's not here with me. Where was I? Yeah, you'll definitely get light leaks with that. If you're in a room that is going to be disturbed by light, maybe it's a room that you go in, maybe other people have access to this room, they're going to need to turn on the light, maybe, during times when lights need to be off, then I would say still go with the 2x4, because again, that's still more cost effective than growing in a whole room. But you are going to have to invest maybe a little bit more money in that tent, because you have to get a tent with the best fabric to make sure you don't have no light leaks, period, at all. Lights. Before I forget, because I was going to forget, let me talk about lights. You do not need the craziest, most up-to-date. It's 2024. You don't need a 2024 Spider Farmer SF 6000. You don't need that at all. Unless you trying to do something big, and even then, my dude, you can do big stuff with less than that. I started out with $180 light, and honestly, I didn't even need that. If I had known beforehand, I could have went on Amazon. As a matter of fact, I didn't know beforehand you could go on Amazon. I wasn't familiar with the lights, and I know they be selling a whole bunch of BS on there, so I didn't want to take a chance. But there are absolutely lights that you can get on there for like half the price of these other lights that will perform. When I say perform, I mean perform. Bloom Plus is one that comes to mind. That's probably the first and the only one that comes to mind, because that's the only one I've used since I started. Now I have a sponsor, and I get lights through them, but I still use my Bloom Plus. So if you're looking into a budget light, Bloom Plus will be your best friend. I promise you. I mean, there's probably other brands, I just don't know them, so I'm not going to tell you that. But Bloom Plus for sure. And if you go on Amazon, they always be having like sales. Like you can get a 400 watt Bloom Plus, I think it's XP, which is the newest version, technically that light be costing like 400, maybe 400 change. I do Amazon, or I guess the business on Amazon always be running sales, bro. I'm talking 100 off. The $300 version, like 80 off. The $200 version, like 60. Like each version going down, there's a certain percentage off. I'm telling you, Bloom Plus. I'm already at 10 minutes. All right, so I'm about to wrap it up right now. If you looking to grow something budget, cost effective, a 2x4 tent, a 4-inch inline fan, 2 clip-on fans max. And when I say max, I mean max. 1 at the top, 1 at the bottom, but honestly, you could get away with 1. A heater, if you need that, but again, small heater, $20 from Walmart or wherever you go, cheap. If you need to cool it down, that's a little bit more tricky. I would say probably just, get another fan, maybe open the tent, have a fan on the outside. Again, if it's not going to be bothered by light, stuff like that, there's ways to get around that too. It's just that with the heater, that's a lot more. That's easier because they sell heaters again for $20. I have a $20 Walmart heater. I've had this heater for a year, and I run this heater to the ground, and this heater is still going nonstop, strong. Obviously you can't get no $20 AC, so that's a little trickier. But again, it's doable. And what else? A humidifier. Again, same thing with the humidifier. You can get like a little $15 humidifier from Walmart. The only difference with that, you'll be changing that obviously a lot more because it's gonna finish faster. Versus like me, I've only had 6-liter humidifiers for a while because I've grown a big space. But if you took that 6-liter and put it in the 2x4, my dude, you'll be changing that every like 2.5 days. But me personally, I don't really want a 6-liter humidifier in a 2x4. That's just me, but to each his own. The humidity situation is kind of the same thing with the heating and the cooling. It's obviously way easier to get a $15, $20 humidifier than it is to get a $15, $20 dehumidifier. So, or maybe they are out there, I don't know. But that's my take on that. It's easier to dehumidify your tent than it is to humidify your tent. Oh, reverse that. So I think that's really about it. Again, the condensed version. If there's anything I'm forgetting, I'll definitely make like a follow-up video, but that's pretty much the basics for right now that you'll need just for the tent. Like obviously this is not including like soil, seeds, none of that stuff. Just if you already have that, what you're gonna need for your setup. That's what this video is about. So, like I said, this is Drizzy. This is Piffin Tales. Like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell so you know every time I drop, I'm out. And again, like I said, y'all, this is just a simple video that gets like kind of straight to the point, I guess, on like what exactly you need to start up. I am going to do another video on the specifics of these things, like what they all do, like what's their main purpose, and then a few things like the inline fan and like your fan in general. Those have their main focus, but there are some different things that they can aid you in, when different situations pop up. So I'm gonna like make another video and go more in depth into like all like the equipment and what exactly they do and other purposes that they serve.